everybody. How are you today? I'm doing all right. Let's see who's here. Let's click that chat button. I saw earlier a couple of people made it early. Quest was here. My brother, News Now Enemy, was here. Norfolk Southern Pokey District. Nice to see you. Greg was here. Wow, there's a lot of people here today. I'm so excited. Sparky's here too. News Now Voodoo is here. Awesome. Jam and Jet, nice to see you. Number 2, as always, my BFF in the whole wide world. Always supporting me. I appreciate that. Just Another Nut. Nice to see you. And Salacious. Oh, yay, Salacious is here. That's awesome. Good to see you. Smith W is here too. Tommy Walker, good to see you. We're going to jump right into it. I'm Katie Zed. I assume you know that if you're here. But for those people who are here, like, find this after the fact or something, I'm Katie Zed, and this is my channel. So, a little backstory. When I was working with Hawkhound Media, I did a series with PJ that was behind the music, basically. So it was different crimes and situations that happened that songs are written about. But since we parted ways, I had 2 more episodes planned out that I was going to do, and this is going to be one of them. And there's one more, I do research and stuff, so there's one more in progress, but this is the next one that we had on deck. So I'm just going to do it by myself, and it's going to be great. It's a really interesting story. This one, just like the Pearl Jam one that I did, the song Jeremy, it's not really a crime that happened, but it is sort of in the same genre. So we'll still do, we'll still treat it as if it's a crime. I didn't do it ahead of time, but what I'll do, if you like this sort of thing and you're into this sort of music and the stories behind the music, the other 2 episodes that I did that are on the Hawkhound Media Rumble page, I will link those in the description, and you can throw your support over to them too. They're great people over there, and we did some good work together. So I hope you guys like those ones as well as the one that I'm about to do. Okay, so this story is about, hey, you guys, how many of you guys, just show of hands in the chat, were alive in the 90s or like 90s music? I personally, that was my time when I was a teenager. So the 90s sort of alternative rock, that sort of popular music is very nostalgic for me. And I like all sorts of music, but that music specifically is very nostalgic for me. So this song is called The Way by a band called Fastball. I'm going to play you a little tiny bit of somebody doing a cover of that song, because I don't want to, play the actual song, but just because it's one of those bands, it's not like Pearl Jam or Nirvana, which were the other episodes that we did, where everybody knows this song just because, they're so popular, everybody knows it. This is a band that had a few hits, but they're not, they weren't as mainstream, I guess. So here's a cover of just a minute or so of the song The Way by Fastball, covered by this gentleman named Eric Piscilla. I'm probably saying that wrong. I'm sorry, Eric. But you did a beautiful cover, and I want to share it with the people. Let me just hit this screen share. I know where all the buttons are. I can press the buttons.
Pick up the wine, they got to talking. They now have more important things to say. When the car rolled down, they started walking. But where were they going without ever knowing the way? Anyone can see the road that they walk on is paved with gold. It's always summer, they'll never get cold, they'll never get hungry.
do you guys remember that song? It was very popular for a few years. I think it got up to number 3. But it's one of those songs that it's just very nostalgic, and I didn't realize how dark this song was. When you hear the lyrics, it sounds like a couple running away together under their own volition, that sort of thing. It is not about that at all. I mean, I guess it could be, depending on. We really don't know. That's one of the lines in the song is we really don't know. So, I guess let's just get into the story. So this story is about a couple named Lela and Raymond Howard, and they were married to each other on March 8th, 1986. And it was the second marriage for both of them. Lela had been married for 40 years before to her first husband, Jesse. And Jesse had passed away in 1975, which 40 years, like life goals, right? To be married for 40 years. So yeah, her first husband, Jesse, passed away in 1975. And then Raymond's first wife, Ethel, passed away in 1985. So 10 years later. And Ethel and Raymond had been married for 53 years. Which is amazing. You would think, I'm so happy for these two that they found love after spending their whole life raising kids, all of that. So Raymond and Lela met in the church. They attended the same church. Like I just said, their previous spouses both passed away, so they're on their second marriages. And they were both very active in the church, would go to different study groups and outings and things with the church. And this is where they got to know each other. And they both really loved adventure and being on the go and doing things, even though by this point they were both elderly. Let's pull up a picture of them. You would think I would have had that prepped with one of the things, but I pulled a picture for the thumbnail, but for some reason I didn't have it prepped. That's all right. It's live. We do it live here. It's a quick Google search. Images. They were just a sweet old couple. Let's see, this picture looks good. So there they are. Nice couple. Here's them and their families, their children and grandchildren here. Just a very nice couple. Like I said, they both were people who were on the go, and they liked to do things and have adventures. Once they got together, they were inseparable. I can read. They were inseparable, and they were very adventurous. Every year, they would go together to the Pioneer Day Festival in Temple, Texas, and that was just about a 15-20 minute drive from their home. It was like the next town over. So here's where they lived in Salado, I think it's pronounced. And the Pioneer Festival was in Temple. It's a little bit of a bigger town. Now, where we are in Texas, we're just in between. Dallas is up here and Austin is up here. So 17-minute drive from Salado to Temple to go to this Pioneer Day Festival. They went every year together. Apparently, there was a fiddle competition that Lela really liked to go and see. And so they would go every year to watch the fiddle players fiddle. On the day of the festival comes, and this is in June 28th, 1987. So just like the weekend before 4th of July. Lela's son, who happened to live next door to the couple, offered to drive them to the festival and either stay there with them or go back and pick them up because there were some health concerns that the family had been noticing over the past year, and they were kind of worried about them. So the son offered to drive them. They completely, Layla's like, look, we go every year. I know exactly where it is. I know how to get there. I know how to get home. No need to worry about us, son. We got this. I know, I've been a little weird lately, but I'm fine today. I'm having a good day. It'll be fine. So the son's like, okay, like I watched some interviews with the family, and one of the granddaughters was interviewed, and she said there was one point where she was worried about her grandmother's memory and her awareness. There are signs of dementia there. And one of the things that happened is the granddaughter was there to fix grandma's hair, like to do her hair or to cut. I'm not sure if it was to cut her hair or just do her hair. But Layla had been there and was cooking something at the time, and the granddaughter went and was fixing Layla's hair and says to Layla, "Hey, grandma, do we need to check on that thing on the stove?" And Layla had no idea what she was talking about. There was things burnt down to the bottom of the pan, and Layla had no idea. So granddaughter took Layla's car keys and hid them from her, and grandma got so upset and offended by this that it broke her heart. It broke the granddaughter's heart. She ended up giving Layla the keys back, which is unfortunate. I wish, like, that's red flag. We got the red flag ready. When things like this start happening, you see the red flags. I know it's difficult, but you have got to do what's best for your family member. And even though they don't like it, sometimes it's got to be tough love. Like, if your parents were giving you tough love growing up, you might have to do the same thing to them. I know my mom is watching this right now, and I will protect you, and it's for your own good. And it's probably not going to be me. It's going to be your favorite daughter, not me. I'll just tell her what to do. Anyway, another thing that had happened over the last year is, okay, so Raymond and Layla would go to Walmart in the morning to have coffee and breakfast. This was like a routine of theirs. They would go all the time to Walmart. They loved it. Something happened to Zena's camera, by the way. It was on when this is a little side note. Zena's camera is not working for some reason. So when we get to about the halfway point, I'll see if I can fix it because I have a video to play. But until then, I will bring Zena on. She is here. She is my co-host. I do a lot of the heavy lifting, but she brings in the big bucks. So I will bring her over to my camera when that time comes. I know some people you're only here for the Xena cam. I understand it's not working for some reason. Okay, so another thing that happened, so they go to Walmart for breakfast every morning. Not every morning, but it's a routine of theirs where they would talk to the people that work there. They knew the employees, the door greeters and stuff. And they would go to the little cafe that they used to have. I think now Walmart's pretty much have like a Subway or McDonald's or something. But back then it was like their own little like snack bar, and they would go to the snack bar at Walmart and have coffee and have the breakfast there. And one day they went to the Walmart, and they get home from breakfast and they call the son who lives next door. And Layla was so confused because the sun wasn't out, and it was already 10:30 in the morning. And hello, my son, why is the sun not out? So Layla didn't know that it was 10:30 at night. Neither of them realized that it was 10:30 at night and not 10:30 in the morning. That red flag. Once again, that's a red flag. That's a red flag. Something's wrong. You need to get checked out. You need to get checked out by a doctor, and you don't need to be going on road trips to the next town over by yourself. Whew. The health concerns so those are just a couple of things. Layla's showing signs of dementia. Now with Raymond is a totally different case. Raymond, about a year prior, gets into a car accident where he crashes into a parked car, suffers a head injury, traumatic brain injury is what it was called in the research that I did, and also since then a stroke. So he has a brain injury and a stroke. So he's not even allowed to drive at all. The doctors basically said, you cannot drive anymore, Raymond. I'm sorry, you have too much going on. So for the most part, Lela was the one who's doing all the driving. And like I said, just recently, she started showing these signs of dementia that her family, talks about. So on the day of the festival, which was June 28th, 1997, they stop at the Walmart like they normally do. It's their happy place. They go to the Walmart, they speak to the greeter who they are friendly with. It didn't say that they were friends necessarily, but they knew each other because they would go there all the time. So they stop and talk to the greeter and get their coffee and their bagels or whatever they're having there. And that is the last time anybody who knew the couple saw them. After that, they disappeared. I don't even know if they made it to the festival or not. Nobody at the festival could confirm that they were even there, but it was like the Pioneer Day Festival apparently was a big deal. So I don't know if anybody would even notice, it was probably they had different things for the elderly at this festival. They would have like a competition for the couple that's been married the longest, and they'd have like somebody would get an award for just being the oldest person there, things like that. So there's a lot of old people at this festival. So they may have made it to the festival and then got lost coming home. We're not sure. It was customary for the Howards to return from the festival around 3 p.m., but when it got to be about 5 p.m., Lela's son calls the police and the local news, both at the same time, because his mom's gone. His mom's missing, and she should have been home by now. Like I remember, he lives next door, so he's looking out. He can look out his window and see if they're home, like if the lights are on and stuff like that. They didn't come home. Well, I guess in June at 5 p.m., the lights wouldn't be on. That was a dumb thing to say. I retract that statement. But he's waiting for them to get home to ask them how it was. Like, how was the festival? Did you see your favorite fiddle player? That sort of stuff. So right away, which I'm so happy about this, because a lot of times you hear about these cases where you try to report somebody missing and the police tell you, oh, they're adults. They have to be missing for 48 hours before we can even do anything. Or they have to be missing for, 24 hours, and then before we even talk to you or whatever. Not in this case. In this case, the police took the report right away and got it out on the local news that night, like the 10 o'clock news. They were on the 10 o'clock news is missing, which is wonderful because when somebody's missing, the faster you can do that, the better chance you have at finding them. I think they do this with Amber Alerts as well, where they get the information out as soon as possible. I'm glad that happened in this case, although you'll see the story doesn't turn out as happy in the ending that I would have liked it to, but I'm glad that people were doing things the way they should have, so I don't have to be as angry about it as otherwise I would be. That's a lot of words. I'm not sure if that order of those words made sense, but if you don't get it, we'll move on. I do that sometimes. Let me pull this map up because this is very interesting. So here's the map. So remember, we're in Salado. They go to Temple to the Pioneer Day Festival, 17 minutes away. Later that night, they get pulled over. And even though there's a missing persons report out, this is just for the local area. So they get pulled over in Arkansas, which the closest place in Arkansas that you can get from here is like here. So they somehow got through Dallas and got all the way up to Arkansas. A police officer, the first officer stops them for driving without their lights on. The officer asks them where they're headed. They say, hey, we're going home. We live in Texas. The officer notes that they were headed in the wrong direction, and he pointed that out to them, but he did not see them turn around, which is interesting. The officer also said he gave them a warning about the headlights because it's an older couple. That's not like they were, I mean, I guess not having your headlights on when it's dark is against, they could have wrote them a ticket, but he didn't. He gave them a warning. He had no reason to hold them or anything. They weren't doing anything else wrong. So he gives them a warning, sends them on their way, says, hey, by the way, Texas is that way. It's not like you're going deeper into Arkansas if you go this way. He says he doesn't see them turn around, but he doesn't know that they didn't turn around because they could have just gone up to the next, little town or whatever, or needed to get gas and then turned around. He doesn't know. He did say after the fact, when being interviewed by the, other police departments or whatever, that he felt like something was off, but he at the time couldn't put his finger on it, which is interesting. I bet that happens a lot with police officers where you feel like something's wrong, but if somebody's not breaking the law and not doing anything wrong, there's not a real lot that they can do about it. Just, I don't want them to be able to do more because they would just all of them would just have a feeling and could do whatever they wanted then. But it would have helped in the Howard's case anyway. So they get pulled over again in Yell County. So the Yell County Sheriff, let's find out exactly where Yell County is. Yell County, Arkansas. No. Yell County, Arkansas. So why is it not coming up? I said, here we go. Okay, so here's Yell County. So they get pulled over by a Yell County sheriff. So this is like halfway up Arkansas, it looks like. So they're all the way up here from down here. So they get pulled over again. This time, they're pulled over because they had their brights on. And the same thing sort of happened where the officer stops them and says, hey, by the way, your high beams are on. And Layla's like, okay, sorry, and turns them off, and they go on their way again. All right, so at this point, they're missing. So this all originated on the 28th of June, and now it's the 3rd of July, so it's 4th of July weekend, and this whole time the local news in Austin and now in Arkansas as well, because the cops who were looking for them in Texas have reached out to the surrounding states, and they figure out, they're running their information and their tags and stuff. They're like, well, they've been pulled over in Arkansas, so those officials, I guess, are involved in the case now as well. And on the local news and all these places, it's being broadcast, be on the lookout for these people. They're missing. I bet their whole family is just beside themselves. I can't even imagine not knowing what happened. So on July 3rd, there's a report that comes in that they were spotted at a farmer's market near Hot Springs, Arkansas, which if they were fine on July 3rd, which it's just a report that somebody says, hey, I think I saw that couple at the farmer's market. Maybe they were there, maybe they weren't. But this is where the police really narrow it down to a 3-county radius in Arkansas. So they are doing like massive searches in this because Hot Springs is here. They were pulled over in Yell County, and they were pulled over down here just over the Texas border. So this area of Arkansas, they are just looking everywhere for them. They have, it's all over the news. Newspaper articles are coming out every day, with their pictures, all of that stuff, just looking for this elderly couple. Several relatives spent the entire 4th of July weekend that year searching for Lela and Raymond, and they drove over 1,000 miles that weekend, looking for their car, passing out flyers, speaking to the local police departments, because remember, they're all from Texas. So they're speaking to the local police departments. They are going into little shops, stuff like that, looking for these people. You know, it's their grandma, it's their mom, their dad, their grandma. They're very important to them, and it just poof into thin air. The last person that saw him was the Walmart greeter. You know, their grandson even offered $1,000 reward to anybody who could find them or have information that would help find them. The son who lived next door was taking care of their house while they were missing, and they had a cat named Happy that was left without any food. It had water, but it had been fed that morning. It wasn't like, when you're a cat person, you leave. If you're leaving for a few days, you leave like a big pile of food out for them. That it wasn't the case. But an interesting thing in their house is they had several outfits, like clothes, for each of them laid out on their bed, and all of the appliances were unplugged. So I don't know if that's maybe just a thing where they knew they were leaving the house for the day, so they unplugged the appliances. I know I will sometimes unplug the appliances if we're going on vacation or something like that, but yeah, it's hard to say. It's definitely hard to say. The fact that there was the clothes set out, I thought was interesting. Like, the clothes were set out and the appliances were unplugged. So I don't know. What do you guys do? Do you unplug your appliances when you leave for the day? Probably not. For vacation? I don't even think there's surge protectors nowadays. So I don't even think people do that anymore. Because stuff is on, like, all the outlets have like surge protectors in them now. Anyway. Let's see where we are. So, yeah, Happy, the cat, was not happy because mom and dad never came home. Okay, so now it's July 9th. They've been missing 11 days, and a story comes out in an Austin newspaper. And this is about the time when a gentleman named Tony Scalzo sees the story, and he's the lead singer of the band Fastball, and he starts writing the song The Way. So he starts writing the song, or he's writing the song while they're still missing. So he has no idea what happened to them. The song, when you listen to it, it's an upbeat song, and it tells the story of a couple that were happy and disappeared on purpose, it seems like. And there is some, like, I think in the 90s I didn't realize what a lot of songs were about. I just didn't pay attention. But when you listen to the words of the song now, like looking back at it, listening to it today, it seems like it seems like a couple that went off into the sunset to commit suicide. And there's even a little bit of reference to that in the music video. There's a scene of somebody jumping off of a building. It doesn't straight out say that, though. Anyway, let me read you the lyrics, and you tell me what you think. Keep in mind, this was written in between the time that they went missing, and it's all over the news. And so the guy sees it in the newspaper, and they hadn't been found yet. So he's basically writing the end to a story that he doesn't know how it ends yet. And for the most part, you guys don't know how it ends yet because I haven't told you. All right. So the lyrics are, they made up their minds and they started packing. They left before the sun came up that day. An exit to eternal summer slacking, but where were they going without ever knowing the way? They drank up the wine and they got to talking. They now had more important things to say. And when the car broke down, they started walking. but where were they going without ever knowing the way? Anyone can see the road that they walked on is paved in gold. I'm gonna cry because I know how the story ends. It's getting me right here. Hold on. I can get through this. Katie, get your stuff together. Anyone can see that the road that they walked on is paved in gold, and it's always summer. It never gets cold. They'll never get hungry. I needed to have somebody come on and do the lyrics part. I can't get through it. They'll never get old and gray. You can see their shadows wandering off somewhere. They won't make it home, but they really don't care. They wanted the highway, and they're happier there today. Their children woke up and they couldn't find them. They left before the sun came up that day. They just drove off and left it all behind them. But where were they going without even knowing the way? And then it just repeats after that. So what do you guys think when you hear those lyrics? Did you think it was about suicide too, or is that just me? I'm not sure. Yeah, somebody tell me a dad joke quick. It's such a sad story. By the way, I'm taking calls at the end of this because it's a pretty short story. Even though it's a sad story, it's a short story. We're almost done with it, and we're only a half an hour in. So, all right. Lela and Raymond were found about 70 miles away from that last traffic stop. 1 second. It's the lyrics. Like, I'm telling you what, I can't listen to that song now without getting like the knot in my throat. So there was some teenagers hiking in the Ouachita Mountains in Arkansas. And let's put those on the screen for you guys. So we're at the Ouachita. Pronunciation's not my strong suit. Mountains in Arkansas, and you can see they're very beautiful. But there are some cliffs there. It's a beautiful part of the country. And these teenagers were hiking, and they look over the edge and they see something, and they get home and they tell their parents, hey, and parents call the police, and the police go and check it out. And what they found when the police went to check it out was a car at the bottom of the cliff off of Arkansas State Highway 7 in the Ouachita. Somebody from Arkansas, let me know how to pronounce that. Oh, Ouachita? Is that how it said? Ouachita? Ouachita. Thank you. Smith was already on it. He's heard me butchering, absolutely slaughtering pronunciation, and helped me out without even me asking. Ouachita. I don't know how anybody would be expected to pronounce that correctly if it's pronounced Ouachita. I'm looking at the letters and I'm looking at the pronunciation, and there's just not. Okay. The Ouachita Mountains. So they find this couple at the bottom of they find the car at the bottom of the cliff. They were driving a red Oldsmobile, and Raymond was still inside the car, and Lela was about 20 feet away from the car. They did an investigation. And so when the police came and did this traffic investigation, they said that the couple went off the cliff at about 50 miles an hour. When they hit the bottom, Raymond died instantly. There was no skid marks or anything at the top to indicate that anyone, Lela was driving, obviously, that she tried to stop at all. So just straight off the edge, 50 miles an hour, like Thelma and Louise style, right? So they hit the bottom. Raymond dies on impact. Lela does not. Lela put the car in parked, walked around to the passenger side, opened the door. Then she started walking away from the car, but she only made it about 20 feet before collapsing. and they found her still holding her purse and her keys in the other hand. So the highway that they were on, it was known for being dangerous and difficult to navigate. Like I said before, there's no skid marks at the top of the, like where the road was. There's no skid marks or anything else like that. They think that she just didn't see the cliff at all. And I want to show you guys how far away we are. So this is the Washita. Dang it, Washita. I've been saying it Auschwita in my head since I've been researching this. So I'll get it. Washita. Smith says it's Washita. Are up here, and they drove in between Dallas and Austin, south of Waco. So look at the amount. So they were from here, and they were found in these mountains up here. 350 miles in the wrong direction. Keep in mind, it was a 17-minute drive from where they were to where they were trying to go. It's a horrible story. Very sad. And keep an eye on your children and your old people. We need to make sure we take care of them, and so this sort of stuff doesn't happen. Raymond and Lela's case was the first one in Arkansas to utilize the nationwide Safe Return Program. And that's, it registers missing memory impaired individuals in a nationwide database. So it's kind of like what an Amber Alert is, but for old people or memory impaired people. We know it today as a Silver Alert, and I'm sure you guys have seen this. I've seen it in my area when a senior citizen will walk away from where they're supposed to be and just have no idea how to get back. And it's like an Amber Alert, but like I said, for older folks or anybody who's has some sort of mental decline. I'm trying to say it in the nice way. And then the last thing, and I'm going to play a couple little things here and see if anybody wants to call in while I play those things too. Because of Lela and Raymond, Texas now requires all drivers over the age of 79 to renew their driver's license at least once a year, which is amazing. I think it's probably annoying for people who don't have any mental decline to have to do that. But, you know, by that age, you should be retired and you should have plenty of time to go renew your license once a year. That's all I'm saying. So I found a news article that had it's got some interviews with the family. So I want to play a little bit of that for you guys. And in the meantime, if anybody wants to call in and talk about this case, I'm going to put the link in the chat. As always, you could do it with cameras on or cameras off. You can hop in and we'll watch this, and as soon as we're done, if anybody's here and wants to, we will. What am I doing? Oh, okay.
It's a summer tradition, one that takes greater meanings in cities like Salado and Belton. For Lela and Raymond Howard, that tradition was Pioneer Day in Temple.
Well, I knew they was going to be going because they all went every year. And
the Howards were both on their second marriage, united through a love of the church and that late-in-life lust to live.
I think they just enjoyed going and doing things, you know, together. And Nanny always, that's the main word she stood by, is go.
that's right.
She wanted to go. She didn't care where.
And on that particular Saturday, go was on their minds. But their family had different thoughts. Mr. Howard recently had brain surgery, and Mrs. Howard was showing signs of memory loss.
So she'd leave something on the stove, and we'd be fixing her hair, and I'd say, I got to go check on whatever she had. She said, I don't know what you're talking about.
Still, that didn't derail their vigor for all things go, and to go on their own.
I said, you want me to go with you? and drive the car. Oh no, we'll be fine. I said, don't worry about us.
Anyone can see the road that they walk on is paved in gold. It's always summer, they'll never get cold, never get hungry, never get old and gray.
The trip from their Belton home to Temple was 10 miles, 15 minutes tops.
And they'd stay till about 3 o'clock usually. So when it got 5 and they weren't home. And
everybody is doing everything they can to get this couple back home safely.
Their disappearance gained widespread media attention, including in the Austin American-Statesman.
I looked and right away this story sort of struck me. And it was sort of an ongoing story, like still no developments in the case of the missing couple.
Tony Scalzo is the lead singer of the band Fastball. At the time, the Austin group was looking for inspiration for their second album.
Started getting these ideas, well, maybe they don't want to be found, and maybe they just like, you know, they're sick of being responsible and they just want to go out and have fun. And
within a few hours, Scalzo had developed the bulk of the song. All as authorities were still searching high and low for the Howards.
But they got pulled over one time by a cop, and he questioned them a little bit and then let them go.
An officer in Arkansas, hundreds of miles from Salado, had stopped them for driving without their lights on. The cop flicked them on for the couple, then let them go.
we can't figure out how they got through Dallas. I haven't figured it out yet.
At the time, the officer didn't know they were missing. It did, however, narrow the search area. Finally, on day 13,
it's just so sad to see this family just distraught. And this interview was years afterwards, and you can still see the pain in their face for losing their loved ones this way. By the way, if you do want to hop in, you can just click the link that I put in the chat. And once we're done watching this, I will pull you up to talk about it. Mr. Zed, if you're watching, you can just walk into the room. I have an extra microphone. Okay.
a pair of teenagers walking past a ravine noticed something and told their parents. When cops checked the area, they found the Oldsmobile the Howards were driving in at the bottom of a 25-foot cliff near Hot Springs, Arkansas.
But it was a relief because a lot of families don't have that closure, and that
Radio stations, word quickly gained traction, eventually catching the attention of Hal Copeland.
Oh, that sounded like Mama and Mr. Howard's, the way they done. You know, I could tell by the way it sounded, you know.
A few days later, Hal's beliefs were confirmed. What had quickly become the #1 song in the country was a living tribute to his mother.
I liked it real good. I liked the song real well, too.
Yeah, I was just blown away. I just couldn't believe somebody would do something like that for my grandma.
The album ended up going platinum and made the band a worldwide sensation. And 19 years later, the song is still on the airwaves.
No one else has a story like that. You know, there are other stories, but, you know, it's not this story.
Those lyrics still mean everything to a family who remembers the people behind the music.
they left before the sun came up that day. They just drove off and left it all behind them. But where were they going without ever knowing the way?
A couple of postscripts to that piece. Hal Copeland still lives next door to the Howards' old home in Salado. As for Scalzo, he's still the lead singer of Fastball. They're now on a national tour promoting their newest album, Step Into Light. I'm about to start a Facebook Live to answer any
room with me, and I have #2 waiting to come on as well. But Mr. Zed is here. The Xenacam for some reason is not working, so I was going to have him just sit in front of the Xenacam. Let's unmute you. Hello, Mr. Zed. How are you?
Good afternoon.
So what do you think of the story?
Actually, this story is extremely sad.
I know, right?
I mean, you and I both know of, we have family members that are extremely up there in age.
Yeah.
you've had a grandmother that had
And a grandfather.
and a grandfather. I had a great aunt that just passed away. She was cognitive all the way up till 98 years old. But the fact that she was, of that age makes you think, with all this COVID stuff and everything that was going on,
Yeah.
do they want to live alone? Are they happy with what's going on? I was actually fortunate enough that my family was real close to her and kept her,
Yeah.
involved in all the activities and made sure she could go where she needed to, when and where she needed to.
Yeah. That's good.
So this story here, it makes you think that maybe she was of that age and was lucid enough to know that she didn't want to go that way.
Could be. Yeah.
Her husband, may not have had the best of health to begin with. You said he had a stroke.
He did. He had a traumatic brain injury and a stroke within the previous year.
Right. So I'm thinking that maybe she had made a decision at some point to just, we're going to go out. We're going to go out on our own terms. I've got buddies of mine in the military that got hurt, and as much as I don't necessarily agree with it, that's something that they decided to do on theirs, to go out on their own terms. And it's very difficult for the rest of us that are survivors of it. And I can feel for the family in that aspect, but at the same time I kind of know the idea and the reasoning behind, hey, look, I don't want to put my family through me declining. I don't want to put my family through having to do this, that, or the other. And we're going to go out while we still have a little bit of our faculties left. We're going to do it our way.
I understand, but I will kill you if you ever commit suicide. So don't do that.
No, that's I'm outliving everyone I know.
Good. I expect you to.
I am younger.
Do you want to stick around when we take these other calls?
Absolutely.
All right. So up next we have Karen, number 2. Hello, number 2.
Hola, deuces.
How are you? Could you open that door? So what did you think of the story? You remember that song?
Yeah, I had no idea. I don't know. Sometimes I just don't even think about lyrics. I just sing the song.
That's how I am. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm going to bring Quest in at the same time if you think that's okay.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Everybody's here. Hi, Quest. We have like a 4-person panel now.
Ray says hi.
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 Ready?
Hi. So number 2, what do you like? I know you and I have heard this song probably a lot. And I just thought it was so interesting when I first learned the story behind it. It's not really a crime, so I have a crime channel, but I just thought it was such a good story. I needed to tell it.
It really bothers me because of the kind of situation that I'm going through with my mom right now, kind of being forgetful every now and then, and just these slight little bits of forgetfulness are really scaring me a lot. And like it happened, I think it was like 2 years ago. She forgot how she was going to get home, and she ended up somewhere in Indianapolis, way far away from where she lives.
Yeah.
And that was the beginning of it. And I was like, I don't understand how that could happen. But then it's just little things here and there. So it kind of hits home, and it's just it's very sad, very sad.
Absolutely. Hey, Quest, what do you think? You've heard that song before? Obviously, you're about the same age as the rest of us in this room.
Although I've got to admit, like when you were reading the lyrics, they were very beautiful lyrics, and I could appreciate this one. But for some reason, even in the cover, like it's either of 2 types. It's like either ones where it's got like 4 words and that's it, or where they're completely incomprehensible when they're saying it. So this is like literally the first time I knew the words to that song.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah. One thing that made me
I was just gonna say, compared to some music of that time period, that song, you can really understand what they're saying and sing along. And I think I probably sang along to that song before and just not connected in my brain what they were saying, you know?
It's one of those songs that's just like is always around, and I never really pay attention to it. You know what I'm saying? Because it's just like, it's like you have as like ambient music in a store or something like that, you know?
Yeah.
But interesting to see her from a new perspective. There's one thing that I thought of though, with, you know, this idea of whether or not, you know, they were intentionally leaving and stuff like that. It made me think of something that my dad brought up like immediately after September 11th.
Yeah.
He's like, you know, there are lots of people gone. There are lots and lots of people gone.
Mm-hmm.
But there's probably some people that just like were on their way to the office that day. Out of the thousands of people that worked in those buildings, saw what happened, and said, "I'm out of here. Bye."
Yeah.
I've disappeared now.
Yeah,
you know?
absolutely.
So it's just such a funny concept.
Yeah. So what do you think of Mr. Zed, but either one of you? Like, I think that she got lost and accidentally ran off of a cliff, but Mr. Zed's thinking that maybe they did commit suicide. What do you guys think?
I never thought about that.
I think it's more likely suicide.
Okay, so both the men think that it's suicide, and both the women are like, no, she was just confused and drove off a cliff.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm a big believer in women not driving, but you know,
I want to get a vote in the chat. If you think that it could have been like she knew her mental health was on the decline, her husband's mental health was already declined. If I guess in the chat, let me know if you think it was suicide or unintentional.
If it was suicide, why would she have been out of the car with her purse and keys? If it was suicide, don't you think she would just sit there and kind of die with her husband?
Maybe, or I mean, she was also confused. It could have been a little bit of both. Like, I don't know how you could get, even if you have mental decline, how do you get 400 miles away from your house? And 2 cops stopped to talk to you, and you didn't ask either one of them how to get home or say that I'm lost.
I don't know. I know how you can walk up to a cliff and not see it.
Yes.
They might have been engaged in some kind of like the song lays out.
You're breaking up a little bit.
Go away from the car. We'll walk. You know, like we don't need to go home. We don't need to go here. We can just go with the direction we want and just continue forever, and we'll just never stop. And it's like, yeah, you know what? Maybe this is a one layer of another, where it's like,
yeah,
I don't want to be where I am, so I'm gonna go look for something, and then I realize I'm not gonna find the something. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And maybe they both agreed.
Somebody needs to donate to get Quest better internet. You're breaking up, Quest.
Listen, I actually got to do dinner in 5 minutes, so if you can handle like 4 more minutes of my garbledness, that'd be great.
I expect to see photos online of your dinner later. Oh, he's gone. We lost him. Hopefully he can still hear us. I expect to see photos of Quest's dinner later on. So if anybody else wants to call in, feel free to jump in here to talk about this song and this subject. But I just wanted to let you all know that that thing that number 2 said, she understands how you can walk up to a cliff and almost walk off of it without noticing it. It's because her and I were in the woods in South Georgia somewhere when we were 19, 20 years old, and literally almost walked off a cliff. We also saw a bobcat that night, if I remember correctly, and it's the first time I ever seen like a wild big cat in my life, and it was scary as heck.
It was bigger than, in my memory, it was bigger than what bobcats normally are. It was much bigger, and it was like 3 feet away from us.
It was like in the path. I thought Quest was back, but he's gone again. We tried.
Yo.
Oh, we can hear you. Now I can see you too. Yeah.
Yeah. It refreshed me like immediately after I stopped talking.
Oh. So I did 2 other songs. Did either of you see those? I forgot you're here too. Did you see the one that I did about the song Jeremy by Pearl Jam or the Nirvana song Polly? Did you see those episodes?
I don't think I maybe saw it, but I think I was doing stuff in the background.
Oh, gotcha.
I heard it, but
I remember. I think one of those we actually recorded and actually went live by accident. And you were in the
yeah,
yeah.
Where me and Mr. Zed were.
Yeah,
Correct.
Exactly that. But yeah, I find it so interesting that there's so many songs that have true stories behind them. The next one that I'm going to do is the song, a Michael Jackson song, "Smooth Criminal," which was.
Did you do I Don't Like Mondays? You didn't do that yet, right?
I did not. No.
You know what's funny? So the other day, I knew the story behind it, the basic story, the outlines of it, and then I ran into a story about a kid shooting up the school across the street from her house and stuff like that, right?
Yeah, one of the only female mass shooters, by the way.
She said her reason was she doesn't like Mondays. And I was like, oh shoot, this is actually the real story. They didn't mention the song once in the article.
Really? Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll have to put that one on my list too. But "Smooth Criminal" was actually written about Richard Ramirez, which is a huge case that everybody knows. Yeah, but man, that's another one where I had been singing along with it and didn't realize what I was saying. But yeah, if you check out the lyrics to "Smooth Criminal," and know that it's about Richard Ramirez, it gives you goosebumps.
Yeah, the songs that are based on something and you don't realize it that they're based on something hit different after you know the story.
Absolutely.
I was breaking down crying just reading the lyrics just now. Like that was real.
Phil Collins, "In the Air Tonight," right?
Yeah.
That he said that he'd actually written about there was like a river or stream or something that the kids used to play in, and a group of kids just drowned another kid, and nobody ever told the cops about it. Right?
I wonder if there's news articles and newspapers about that.
And he said he actually played it live for the first time. He gave the guy who did the drowning a front row seat. He's like, "Oh, we're childhood friends. Come to my concert," and then he basically sang it to him.
Oh, that's messed up.
Master trolling on. I want to see if anybody can find any archived news about that drowning. I would definitely be interested. Well, and here's the reason I say that, because Eddie Vedder's a dirty liar, and there was never a school shooting. And in interviews, he said, "Oh, it was written about this kid Jeremy. Plus, when I was in school, there was a school shooting, and there was not when Eddie Vedder was in school shooting." So, yeah, he really is. Real quick before we go any further at all, I need to let you guys know that there is 2 dogs over here, and if you make any donation at all, even a single dollar, either on Rumble or on Buy Me a Coffee, anywhere you can make donations, I will make sure that both of these dogs get a milk bone. Let's put that on the screen. So it's buymeacoffee.com/KatyZ. Look at how cute she is. She needs a milk bone. So any donation at all. The Rumble rants are open, and the Buy Me a Coffee is open. We also have Subscribestar. If you want to become a monthly member, feel free to do that as well. And I would appreciate it. Zena's over there too, my co-host. Sorry the Zena cam went down, but got to do what you got to do. So I will leave the Buy Me a Coffee link up there for a little bit while we talk. And if you do donate on Buy Me a Coffee, let me know in the chat. And I have the whole tub of milk bones ready to go. And I did notice, Quest, you donated last week, and I appreciate that.
No problem. I didn't know if you noticed that my dogs were barking in the background. That was like the reminders. Sorry if it was loud.
That's fine. He's got as much of a zoo as number 2 and I do at our house. I think you have 3, don't you? 4. He's got twice as much of a zoo as number 2 and I have at our houses.
Yeah. The zoo is a. Listen, thank you and for the story. Gotta get going. Gotta do.
Yeah,
dinner.
Absolutely.
Have a great one. All right.
Bye, Tom.
Bye.
Take care.
Bye, Quest.
So buy Zena a milk bone for sure. Do that. And let me actually pull my Buy Me a Coffee up just in case somebody does donate. I will know what happens. Scotto just bought 5 coffees.
Oh.
Wow,
Yay,
Scotto,
fun.
that's so nice of you. All right, you gotta bring the dogs. This is the part of the show where we bring the dogs over. And that's I grabbed the red flag instead of the milk bones. Scotto, thank you so much. We'll get the milk bones. Sorry, Mr. Zed, you gotta go. We gotta bring the co-hosts in.
Have a good one.
Mute. All right.
All right, I'm gonna let you go and feed your dogs milk bones, but I love you and I'll talk to you soon.
Hey, before you go, everyone, number 2 is going to be on my show to do another Crime Land episode in the middle of next month. I think we decided the 16th.
Yeah,
I think it was. Yeah. So the 16th of June, another Friday night crime. We should call it like Friday Felons or something like that. Friday Felonies.
We'll figure it out.
We'll figure it out offline. But thank you so much for popping on here. I appreciate it.
You're welcome.
All right. Bye.
Bye.
All right. Zena, come here. Come on. All right. This is from Scotto. He loves you. Come up. Come on. I don't know. You guys can't see her. Let me turn that off. All right. There's Zena. Zena. Oh, I dropped one. I just dropped. All right. Sit. Good girl. Shake. Shake. Look, she's shaking. She gets a milk bone. Ava's shaking too, but you can't see it because she's so short. She's a little itty bitty baby. Ooh, Ava. There's a milk bone for you. That's from Scotto. He loves you very much. He does. Another one for Zena. Thank you so much, Scotto. I appreciate it. Yeah, you were not red flagged, Scotto. I love it when people support me. By the way, I should be able to get remonetized on YouTube here shortly on the 3rd. And if you do not, that's fine too. It's always free if you want to be here. I think we're about done for the day. I appreciate everybody coming by. Hold on, my mom just showed up in the chat. Let's see what she says. Oh, she's my mom in the chat says that when she gets old, which she's not yet, by the way, she will just move into our basement, which is fine. Absolutely. We have a great basement. There's a whole bathroom, full bathroom down there, a living room and a bedroom. So you're welcome anytime you feel like it. Or when your favorite daughter tells you you can't live at home anymore, just come to my house. Have a good night, everybody. Thank you for coming. And we will see you next time. Oh no, is next week Crime Land? No, next week is Killdozer week. It's Killdozer anniversary. So we're doing another Overruled episode next week. I usually alternate it, but I got to get to research because we have another Overruled next week because it's the anniversary of Killdozer, and we all know that's a very good story. We're going to go over all of that next week, 4:30 Eastern time on this channel, KDZ, 4:30 Eastern on Sunday. We'll see you there. Thanks for coming, guys. Bye.
First Florida man, Endo de Soto. First Florida man was Hernando de Soto. Won't you so loco? Show off your photos, throw up your Twinkies, throw up your ho-hos, tuck in them pinkies. Them shits a no-no. The first Florida man was Hernando de Soto. Brought to my attention by the man with the mojo. My 8th subscriber, I'm a bagoso. Jump in them Sinkies and dump them mimosos. The first Florida man was Hernando de Soto. First Florida man was Hernando de Soto. First Florida man was Hernando de Soto. Looking for new thrills, needed a new track of land. I used to dig the Simpsons, man. Bumping Biggie, Pop, Smash Mouth, and Simple Plan. No scrubs for the crease in my pimples, damn. From the south streets of southeast Michigan, hitting shuffle till I settled on a different jam. And when a dime won't do, a better nickel can. And let me tell you when I used to dig them Simpsons, man. A funny thing about time, you can't get it back. A tight grip, but it rips the jacket. Slight lisp with a mix of traffic. You see about me, like Mr. Glass, always wished I was a whiz at graphics. Take me back to the past where the hits were massive. You could hear Gladys Knight and the Pips on plastic. Misfit molasses. Delete my contacts just so I can stick to glasses. Feel that skipped out, so I miss the classics. Aristotle of the bottle, Seneca of the sinful action, senator of the simple maxim. I swear for a skillful Saxon, I'm still relaxing. Who wanna take a dip in the mind sauce, making up for the time lost, forgetting all my past was when I sign off. Prime bribe, prime rib, Agent Smith, crime boss, popping red pills till my mind's off, mind's off. First Florida man, Endo de Soto. First Florida man was Hernando de Soto. Won't you so loco, show off your photos, throw out your Twinkies, throw up your ho-hos, tuck in them pinkies, them shits a no-no. The first Florida man was Hernando de Soto. Brought to my attention by the man with the mojo. My 8 subscriber, I'm a fagoso. Jump in them Sinkies and dump them mimosos. The first Florida man was Hernando de Soto. First Florida man was Hernando de Soto. First Florida man was Hernando de Soto. Threw up that blue pill, moved to a new track. I slew the foothills of that voodoo sap. Microfiche tape decks, I'll sift through that, cause I'll do anything to get the old Simpsons back. Give me the news that make my mood react. I'll swim through the sewer just to make it to the truth intact. And you can shine up that voodoo with new shellac. I'll still do anything to get the old Simpsons back. Imagine thinking Karl Marx is new school Klingon like Huzu. They welcome the ways they can bring on the boots, dude. Declare a major, they get paid to pollute you. Self-ashamed neighbors never gaze when they scoop you. I wonder how we fight it. The 6th step is never enter in my tent uninvited. The 5th step is produce, no skills is no use. 4th step community preference is unity. 3rd step is nation, it's somewhat location, mostly relations, that's the situation. Next step, family, patriarchal sanity. Safe under the canopy, ain't a place for anarchy. 1st step, I just got to say it, no showboat. Step back and soak up the logos.